So, can I just for the record say what your name is and when you were born?
Okay, my name's Darren Ed Smith, and I was born in 1975.
Great, cool, okay. And what do you love doing outside of? Because you're obviously here at Unitec. What do you enjoy doing? What are your passions?
I enjoy anything to do with the arts.
Great.
I love computers, the internet. I love photography, playing guitar.
What do you play? That's great.
Mainly acoustic sort of stuff.
Great.
I like to play a bit of classical and I play some acoustic rock as well. But
Great.
I'm interested in making guitars.
Do you make guitars?
I've started that way.
Wow.
But yeah, I'm interested in that, and
Must take a lot of patience.
yeah, I like nice handmade things that just ooze quality. You know?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. So do you play your own stuff, or do you play other people's stuff? What, on your guitar, what do you play?
Well, when I first started playing, I started trying to write my own stuff, and then
Yeah.
and I actually thought about going to study music, and then I thought, well, there's not much, I can't really make a living here.
Yeah. Okay.
But I enjoy playing and classical, and I enjoy playing acoustic sort of music,
Great.
any sort of. But it's usually other people's stuff. But
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
And as far as design goes, what are the areas of design that really excite you? What are the areas that kind of get your passion, get your fire going?
High-end design, like for furniture.
Okay.
What else?
Is there any particular kind of a designer that you really admire, or?
Yeah, I love Alto.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
great. And what sort of just thinking about your other influences on design and music, what sort of music do you love, and what sort of influences are coming through in your music, and what sort of it could be people or categories of products, what sort of things do you read that influence your design and influence your choices of music? What are your inspiration, if you like?
That's a good question, actually. I haven't really put a link between music
That's
and
fine.
design, but
That's fine.
I think, and I once read this quote by Nick Cave, and that you have to keep an open mind at all times. So
Yeah.
you can absorb things, and I kind of relate that to my music as well. I listen to everything. I try to give everything a go. I don't
Nice.
try and stay within boundaries.
That's great.
But
How do you what sort of music are you into at the moment, and how do you listen to music? Do you listen online, or do you?
yeah, I listen to old school. I've got vinyl. I've got CDs. I refuse to throw my cassette tapes out.
Good for you.
And but I don't have a cassette player. But
Yeah.
I've got them there.
Yeah.
I listen to mostly via iTunes and Pandora.
Yeah.
I like iTunes because of its
Yeah.
simple interface.
Yeah. No, that's great.
And I listen to at the moment I'm listening to a lot of Nick Cave, a bit of country, and I love old school reggae.
Great. So people like Marley, people like going back to that.
Yeah, at least
Before
Scratch
that.
Perry's kind of
Okay, great.
my man, yeah.
Cool, awesome. So, just thinking about the kind of, if a friend were to describe you, what sort of, how do you think they might, what sort of adjectives do you think they might use to describe you?
Probably opinionated would be the.
Great. You only get ahead in life if you have opinions.
Yep, sure. Opinionated, quite political.
Great.
I think that's the difference between my generation now and the one that's coming through, is
Yeah.
they don't really care much about politics, whereas my generation and previous generations are quite political.
And in terms of a generation, what generation do you see yourself as? I mean, what sort of age group, not necessarily literally, but what sort of people do you treat and believe are your peers in terms of their interests, or in terms of their...
Probably the grunge generation,
Yeah?
the 90s, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So just thinking about New Zealand now, because we're obviously in New Zealand, I'm going to talk about a few things Generation C. What do you... And put you on the spot a little bit, but not. What do you think the future of New Zealand will be like culturally? What in 20 years? What do you imagine New Zealand will be like as a place? Obviously, there's no right or wrong here because no one knows. But I'd really love to hear your view on it, Darren.
Yeah, I think there'll be a greater majority of it's probably, I don't know, I mean this in a non-racist way, but
cool.
will be brown skin.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it's great that all these different cultures that we're starting to see here now. There's Pacific Islanders, there's African, there's Chinese. You know, it's huge, and I just think it's great. And so I think that's kind of the future of a multicultural society.
Great.
So
in 20 years, would you? If we could wave a magic wand and New Zealand could politically, economically be what you would like it to be in 20 years, how would you see New Zealand being economically, politically, in terms of the brand New Zealand's salience or visibility globally? What would you like to see New Zealand become?
I don't know if to answer your question, but I see us as another Switzerland.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit
more
niche. Yeah.
Yeah. So a bit niche. In what way, like Switzerland? What sort of ways?
That we don't get involved with wars.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's a huge. I think that's already starting to show now, since with our Labour governments.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, Afghanistan and what have you.
Absolutely. And economically, how do you think New Zealand will be more widely known? Do you think we'll still be making dairy products? Do you think we'll be making different products? Where do you see the future of the economy going?
Yeah, no, I see it as a more niche, and because I think there will always be dairy farm type products, but I don't think that that's the future for New Zealand.
That's great. And is there a product that you two last questions. One is, given your understanding of Generation C, what do you think best represents Generation C at the moment? I'll give you some time to think about it, either as an object or a piece of music, or I'll just let you think about that, and I'll ask you a simpler question. So just let that rove around in that big mind of yours, and just have a think about that. So I'm trying to find some kind of icon, if you like, that defines them, and maybe a word. And secondly, what is a new product? Can you think of a new product that you personally would love? It could be completely impossible, or it could be possible, but something you'd love to see that hasn't yet been made. Is there anything out there that you kind of... It's like a wish.
I guess... Yeah. I mean, the thing that springs to mind is a media package bundled into a compact unit that you carry around in your pocket.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate? Can you draw it on the board for me? Just draw it on the board, just below that line, just so we can see it, literally above your head. Yeah, actually. Anyway, that's great. Put your name under it. Draw it on the board and put your name under it. Draw it here. That's great.
All right.
And I'll just bring the camera up to you.
I don't know.
It's like a sort of one device thing.
Yeah, it's like it's
everything. Great, that's perfect. That's perfect. And just to finish off with, just stay where you are. It's what do you think what do you think is an object, Darren, that defines Generation C? Can you think of an object or a band or something you think kind of gets them? You know, a lot of the Woodstock generation relate to a VW Beetle, or you know, kind of Rolling Stones and the Beatles. I'm just trying to get a sense of what you think resonates.
Yeah, there's one that definitely springs to mind, but I don't really want to say it. But I guess
it's all right.
It's got to be the iPod, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that horrible.
Why do you not wanna say the iPod?
Because I'm sure there's something else that probably.
No, that's fine.
And I just hate being pulled into that horrible. I hate everything that's iPod. But,
Why?
Because it's taken over everyone's lives, and
Okay.
they've made it that they have to have it, and you don't actually need to have an iPod.
Yeah, okay, got it.
So.
Well, listen, that's great. Thank you for that.